If there is one thing that being cringe has taught me is knowing who are my people that I want to be around, because whenever I am being cringe and someone is trying to make fun of it and try to humiliate me and make me feel embarrassed about it, their behavior showed that I want to stay away from them, because that person is not the kind of person that I want to be around, because I will constantly try to be hyper aware of everything I do in order to not be made fun of, which is so exhausting, and I don't want that. I want to be around people who are fun to be around. And in order to know who are those fun people, being cringe is the answer, because whenever I am being cringe and someone pick up the vibe and they start being cringe too, I'm like, this person is fun to be around and they don't take themselves too seriously and they want to enjoy life. And also being cringe taught me that whenever you are being cringe and you don't take yourself too seriously, some people get inspired by that and they start feeling relaxed around you and they allow themselves to be fun and be cringe because they feel safe around you to show that silly part of them, and they don't have to pretend being someone they are not and hide showing their personality, because they know you are not going to judge them and hate on them for doing something cringe that is not harmful to anyone, and that can be healing for them, especially if they had friendships or relationships where whenever they try to do something fun they were scolded for it, which made them hide that part of them and feel ashamed for it, which made them become closed off and hide themselves in order to not get judged. And I have this friend who also was in that position too, and when we met and she saw how I'm not judgy for her doing embarrassing stuff, it made her become relaxed around me, and she slowly started gaining that confidence of being cringe and being embarrassing, to the point one day we were just laughing and having fun and being silly, and this one girl, she got triggered by that and she was like, you guys are so embarrassing. If I were you, I would have been embarrassed to go outside and act like this and laugh and be silly. And you know what my friend responded? She was like, I prefer to be embarrassing and cringe than being boring like you, who hates having fun. And whenever you see someone having fun, you get angry about it for no reason. Go learn how to have fun, because clearly you don't. And us being cringe is not that deep and it is not harming you. And that girl was so silent after that comment, because literally we were so far away from her and she came to us to throw this comment. And I was trying so hard not to laugh, because that is true. If you are a hater who hates seeing people having fun and being happy, you are boring as hell and you need to take this life a little bit less seriously. Projecting on other people will not make you better than them or cool than them. Go work in your insecurities and face your limiting beliefs. The most boring people to be around are haters, because they don't know how to have fun. Their hobby is judging and hating on others, and also they are the most insecure people to be around, because you will never catch someone who is secure hating on someone who is having fun and is not causing any harm to anyone and who wants to build memories to look back at. Whenever I am sitting down and thinking about my life, I think about all this silly, cringy stuff that I did and I laugh about it alone or with my friends. You don't want to look back at your life and regret being so self-conscious about what others think of you, which prevents you from building memories and going outside of your comfort zone. The opinion of John, who made fun of your music taste and he said it is cringe and he has better music taste than you by listening to indie artists who are not popular, or Amy, who said that you are embarrassing to be around, their opinion is not valid, because these people are not happy and they're not comfortable in their own skin. They have low self-image that made them decide to start putting people down in order to feel good about themselves. Their behavior is a reflection of their character. So if you are in a position where because of Amy or John's opinion you closed off and you started feeling ashamed of your hobbies and interests and you started seeing them as cringe, which made you hate on them and hide them or abandon them because you don't want to be called cringe and you want to seek the validation of these people because you think they are much cooler than you. You hiding your interests and hobbies stop you from having the chance of meeting people who are interested in the same thing as you and form a connection with them and discuss with them all of these interests and hobbies with them with passion and without the worry you will be called cringe. And it is so satisfying when you find people who share the same passion as you about a particular subject. I saw this girl online on YouTube who talked about how her being a fan of One Direction made her meet her best friend because they connected over the same thing, and she did not allow these comments of people in school calling her cringe for listening to this group stop her from loving their music when she was a teenager. So, if you are in a situation where you are around people who you call your friends and you are trying to get validation from them and not get called cringe by them, and you abandoned all of your interests in order to fit their group, and you feel drained whenever you are around them, and deep down you know there is something off about all of this, it is a sign to leave because you trying to please them, it is not going to make you happier. It is better to be called cringe by them and go live your life and find people who you will connect with than being miserable and feeling out of place in these relationships. And realizing this helped me so much to free myself from this prison because I used to struggle with this, where if someone called my hobbies or interests cringe or was being hateful by trying to humiliate me instead of being respectful when it comes to expressing their dislike of it, because people have different interests, and when someone was being mean in those moments, I took it personally because it is painful when you say I am interested in this and people make fun of it. It feels like a personal attack because these hobbies are a part of you somehow. And one thing that I'm doing that is helping me with this is whenever I am being asked about my interests, I actually say them instead of hiding them. And if someone made fun of it, I will just look at them confused and ask, what is funny about it? Even if I am scared and freaking out in the inside, but I do put that mask at the moment and try to remember it is not about me, it's about them trying to make fun of me in front of others, and it says so much about their character. And usually when I said that, people did shut up and they realized what they said was stupid, and it was scary at the beginning to do that, but it was necessary to take that step in order to become comfortable with being cringe for some people and not take it personally. And it takes practice to adopt this mindset and become good at it, but it is worth it because being cringe also teaches you to not take yourself too seriously by being serious all the time and thinking people will eat you alive if you do something wrong or if you do something embarrassing and it is the end of the world. And that is not true. A lot of you are so connected online watching videos of these people who have an ick about the smallest things, and you are constantly watching this kind of videos and exposing yourself to this type of content, and it makes you start having insecurities and worries about things you've never considered before, which impacts your self-perception and how you show up to the world because you think everyone have the same ick and everyone will be annoyed at it and hate on you if they discover that you are doing that thing. And this is called availability heuristic bias, where your brain relies on the recent information you recall about something to make up your judgment about it and determine the frequency of its occurrence. If you are exposed to something more frequently, you will think the frequency of its occurrence is high, and at the same time, if you are exposed less to something and you find a hard time to recall it, you think the frequency of its occurrence is low. For example, in the case of social media, the more you watch this content of people having an ick about something and thinking something is cringe, your brain will recall this content that you watched more frequently whenever you are in a social setting, and your brain will trick you into thinking that the frequency of people who will judge you and will get the ick of how you are talking or behaving is high, and that is far away from the truth, because not everyone will judge you, and you have to separate social media from reality, because something that is frequent on social media doesn't mean it is frequent in real life too. And I advise you to minimize your social media intake and go outside and build castles with sand on the beach, because apparently touching grass is not enough to become in touch with reality, and you need to become in touch with it, because a lot of you lost touch with reality, and the majority of your insecurities and hyper awareness, social media played a role in it. The day I reduced my social media intake, my life got so much better because I am in peace, and I don't know what people think is cringe. I am practicing strategic ignorance, where I am intentionally ignoring content that doesn't deserve my attention, and you can do that too. Start ignoring whatever content that will disturb your peace of mind, and be okay with certain people not liking you when you did not do anything that hurt them, and learn to have some fun. If you do something embarrassing and cringe, make fun of it by saying, haha, I can't believe that I did this. Even if you are feeling embarrassed about it, you can feel embarrassed about something and at the same time laugh about it. And this is something that I learned from this journey, because I do have some moments where I feel embarrassed about something cringe that I did, and I just wish at that moment I can delete it from my memory or run away. But I try to remember no one will remember what happened, and everyone will move on, because people have their lives too. And I try to laugh about it at the moment, and remember that I can use this memory and what happened to tell it to people around me in the future, and be dramatic while I am narrating what happened to me. And this does put me on ease. And one day, me and all the people who witnessed that moment, our bones and skin and everything in us will cease to exist, and we will be the perfect meal for worms and insects, except if our family decided that they want to have our ashes instead. So yeah, life is not that deep. By the way, I want to clarify something about being cringe, which is you don't have to do something massive and act like a clown to be cringe. You can start with small things, like dancing weirdly and badly with a friend or with yourself and laugh about it, or sing badly or something like this. You can come up with your own list of 4 to 5 things that you see as cringe, even though they are not, and you can start doing them. And like I said earlier, you're not going to be comfortable about it, but with more exposure, you will get used to it. And also, there is another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to being cringe, which is some people stop themselves from trying new things and get out of their comfort zone because they are scared to be called cringe when they make a mistake and people making fun of them. And if this is your case, I just want to let you know that people who are going to make fun of you because you made a mistake and tell you, OMG, that is so embarrassing that you made that mistake. If I was you, I would have stopped or felt ashamed or something like this. These people, they wish they had your audacity and courage to try something new, because they don't believe they can do it. And when they see someone doing it, it makes them uncomfortable and it triggers them. That's why they project those beliefs into you or other people who are trying new things, and they call you cringe and embarrassing in order to make you feel bad and stop, so they won't have to face their demons and have that confirmation that no one in their environment is doing it, instead of facing these beliefs and prove them wrong. And in psychology, it is called confirmation bias. That means we as human beings will look for things that will confirm what we believe, because we are scared to be wrong. And this is the case for the people that you are scared will make fun of you if you try something new. They are looking for something that will confirm their belief, and when they see someone who is threatening these beliefs, they attack and project. And I advise you to start doing whatever you want to do, and if someone calls you cringe and you are hurt about it, feel the pain and do it anyway. It will teach you to care less about the hater's opinion and be okay with disappointing a portion of people by not being perfect. When I started doing this, it was uncomfortable and it is still uncomfortable sometimes, but I try to ask myself in these situations, who am I willing to disappoint when I will allow myself to make a mistake and be called cringe? And asking myself this question helps me to relax because it reminds me that I'm just putting these people on a pedestal by trying to look perfect for imperfect people who also have embarrassing and cringe moments. And also, I try to encourage other people when they are scared to make a mistake and look cringe, because encouraging them put them in ease and help them to relax for a bit. And also it helps me to be okay with making mistakes, because if I judge others when they look cringe and they make a mistake, best believe I will do that to myself when I am alone. Those bad comments that I told them, my brain will internalize them as facts because I kept affirming those comments out loud or to myself, which reinforces them in my brain. That's why haters are not successful and miserable. They think they are only harming people with their words, but actually they are also harming themselves when they go out there and say these mean things to others, because they start believing what they are saying. Also, something else that helped me, which is using fear in my advantage by being scared of not doing what I wanted to do and regretting that in the future. Using the future regret and pain that I will experience, it pushes me to go out of my comfort zone and start doing what I wanted to do and make mistakes. And when I started doing that, the fear of being mocked seems so insignificant, because in my head I imagined way worse scenarios if I don't start doing what I wanted to do. And also using the FOMO, which is fear of missing out, in my advantage by imagining all of the beautiful things that could have happened if I allowed myself to be labeled as cringe for some people and pursue what I wanted. And the reason I use fear is because fear have great effect on us, especially when it comes to losing. Loss affects us more than gain, and sometimes we base our choices and decisions from the fear of losing. For example, some people stay in their toxic relationship because they are scared to lose that person. As human beings, we try to avoid losing things, and in our case, I try to use this in my advantage by avoiding losing and missing out on not doing what I wanted to do, by creating scenarios in my head of all the things that I want to experience and pushing myself to do it and experience it in order to not lose this opportunity and miss out on these experiences that I value. And you can do that too and use fear in your advantage. Fear can be a great motivator to pursue and do what you want to do. I hope that this was helpful, and don't forget that life becomes so much easier when you're not taking yourself seriously all the time and you're not trying to appeal to everyone by trying to control how people feel about you. And if someone calls you cringe, tell them, yes, I am cringe and I am proud of being one. Do you have a problem with that? Also, if you liked the video, please don't forget to like it and subscribe and leave a comment, and see you in the next video. Bye!